my mind, I can't sleep. Vrindavan Mahima Amrita ki jai. Prabodhananda Saraswati ki jai. We're continuing to discuss this icebergs on the ocean of devotion. Because it's so cold, there's a lot of icebergs. So we have to be careful and pass by each iceberg and get to our safe harbor, the shelter of the lotus feet of Radharani. Now we're on text. So we did 49. No, we didn't do. Today we have 49. Chapter 15. Excuse me, chapter 13. 49, 462. Vrindavan Mahima Amrita. Stri bikena vashi kritastri jagati prayo yasho lipsavo. Trishyante vishaya sprisho pi patita sangan mahanto pihi. Budevam pratibudum ichasino chet swartam karastam tatas tatrahar nisham apramata hridayo brindatavin avasa. Who in this material world is not under the control of women? It's often an ironic point about the material world is they have these phrases, it's a man's world, men are in charge, men are the political leaders are primarily all men, the leaders of companies and industries and police and army and communications and everywhere, practically speaking, without exception, it's some man in every country of the world. There are sprinkling here and there of some female leaders, CM here or PM there. But the totality of the Earth's planet is maybe 1/100th of 1% or 1,000th of 1% of the leaders of anything, leading anything, business, governments, sports, etc., are women. So it seems quite obvious that it's a man's world. But he's saying, Prabhupada Saraswati is saying, all these leaders, so-called leaders, who are in man's bodies, they themselves are under control of women. So actually, the real fact is it's a woman's world. The women are controlling, men are controlling the world, and who's controlling the men? The women. So then who's actually controlling? That's the same point when Narada Muni, he saw Brahma. He thought his father was supreme. He's the creator. Brahma's the creator of this universe. He's the creator of Narad, his son. And he's sitting there with his father on the top of the universe, looking at the whole thing in Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. And his father said, "See, son, this is my estate." Like some wealthy man, he goes to the rooftop palace of his king, King Jai Singh's son. "Son, look out in the valley. See this Rajasthan, this is all our kingdom. Our kingdom of Jai Singh, of Jayapur." And the son would say, "Wow, Daddy, you're big." So Narada Muni, when he was on the palace rooftop with Brahma, and Brahma moved his arm across the universe and said, "Look, Narad, see this universe, it is all mine. It is our family property. I've created all of this." And then Narada Muni said, "Wow, Daddy, you're really big." And he started worshiping him. He said, "You are the biggest. You're the controller, the creator. And I'm your son, and we're living here in the palace, in the top of the whole universe. Everything's underneath us. Everybody's below us and underneath us." Tapaloka and Janaloka, Maharloka and Swargaloka and Swara and Bur and all these, they're all down there, all small fries. We're in the big time up here, me and my father. This is my universe. Like someone says, "This is my house." Like so many foolish husbands say, "This is my house. Whatever I say goes on here. If you don't like it, then just leave." It's a very common mantra in American families. Fathers telling their 18-year-old sons, "This is my house. You don't like it, get your own place. You're old enough now. Get out. Sorry, Dad, I love you so much. So Brahma was the same idea. This is my universe. He's telling Narada. So Narada was worshipping him. Then one day he saw Brahma was off somewhere doing puja. And he saw his father, he was worshiping. He said, who are you worshiping? Oh, who is that? What are you doing? Who is that? You're doing arti and ringing bells and singing mantras. Oh, this is Vishnu. To you, I'm Big Daddy. but he's a really big daddy. He's my father. Huh? Narada was astounded. What? Huh? Your father? You're the source. You're the source of me, everything. Whole creation, you're the creator. How is it? No, Vishnu. I'm born from his navel. And then it changed the whole picture. So that's the whole thing here. All the men think they're in control. But if you go and say, oh, you're the PM, CM, this, that, whatever you are, CEO and MD and Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer and all this, then you go home and you see that his grandson, as Prabhupada tells the analogy, one man was waiting to meet the CEO, another big industrialist. And they said, oh, Mr. Smith is busy right now in a very important meeting, you'll have to wait. So this other big industrialist who wanted to do business with the steel factory man, steel manufacturer, he said, oh, he waited for some time. Then he looked through the keyhole. This is in the 1800s when they had keyholes. And this Mr. Smith was told to be in a very important high executive meeting. When he looked in the hole of the keyhole, he saw Mr. Smith was walking on the carpet of the office on all fours. And Mr. Smith's grandson was sitting on his back. And Mr. Smith had become horsey for the little grandson. So the grandson was, hurry up, faster, faster, father, faster, daddy, granddad, faster. So he's running around the carpet on his hands and legs like a horse. So the man, the grandfather, is controlling this entire steel factory with 10,000 employees and so much exports and crores of profits. And he's controlled by his grandson. So Prabhupada Saraswati is saying, men think they're in control, but actually, who in this material world is not under the control of women? It is often found that one who has no desire for fame, who has no attachment for material enjoyment, and who is known as a great personality, also falls down due to bad association. Despite knowing this fact, and having received the goal of life within your hands, if you still do not wish to wake up, then simply reside in Vrindavan peacefully day and night. That's a very interesting translation. Let's look at the other translation here. 49. In the three worlds, what men are not controlled by women? So it goes on, it's not just the earth planet. Even Indra is controlled by women. That's pretty obvious. They who are not controlled are mostly men. They who are not controlled by women are mostly men who hanker for fame. And Prabhupada often uses this description. He said there's two kinds of sex life. There's mitun and pratishta. These are two kinds of sex life. Mitun, sex union with the opposite gender, and pratishta means pratishtata, or pratishta asha. As is mentioned in Manashiksha by Raghunath Das Goswami, pratishta asha. Asha, the desire, the hope for, and the intense desire for recognition, name, fame, honor, distinction, that satisfaction one hankers and works so hard to experience, that joy of being number one or being the best or being recognized or glorified and eulogized. That is a type of subtle sex life, mental sex life. We said there's gross sex life and subtle sex life. Gross sex life is mitun, and subtle sex life is pratishta. Therefore, Manashiksha Raghunadas Goswami addresses this most poisonous enemy of bhakti, known as pratishta. So he's saying most every one of the three worlds is controlled by women, and somehow if they're not controlled by mitun, sex attachment and sex union, desires, then they're controlled by desire for fame, which is another type of dancing pariah woman, another type of dancing prostitute in the mind that one wants to fame. They who are not controlled are mostly men who hanker for fame, but some may be seen who are great saints, untouched by material desires, and whose company makes the material desires of others fall away. Quite a different translation. O intelligent reader, if you have no desire to awaken the material benefits that sleep in your hand, then with a peaceful heart reside day and night in Vrindavan. Much more clear understanding. The rather lengthy Sanskrit verse has been unraveled and deciphered in a rather more clearly understandable way. And I'm sure this one is in consonance with the actual Sanskrit words before us. Swartam karastam. Karastam means in your hand is swarta, your goal is in your hand. Pratibodham michasi. Swartam, your own goal is karastam, is situated in your hand. Day and night, harnisham. Don't fall into madness, whatever madness, just stay. Take a vow to live in Vrindavan. So that's a nice point. That he's saying that everywhere people are controlled by women, pratishta or mitun. So to avoid all that and become free from all those subtle and gross desires for sex life, then one should have sadhusanga. Because whether you want pratishta asha or mitun, in the association of sadhus, both of those are removed. Because sadhus are free from sex desire and free from the desire for profit, adoration, and distinction. Chinadapi suni chinatarori vaseshana. Amanina amanidena kirtaniya sunahari. They rather run from such thing. They shun the limelight. They don't look for it. They're even hard to find, sadhus, because they know that people want to exploit them for blessings, for removing obstacles, so they rather keep themselves hidden from the masses of selfish, insincere, materialistic people. So he's telling us, he's saying Bodha, this one verse is a Pratibodha, I believe it says, Pratibodham, Buddhaivam Pratibodham, Almat Sangan Mahanto, Patita, Vishaya Sprisho, Drishyante Vishaya Sprisho. Don't see or touch your desires for sense gratification. And if you want to you fallen person, if you Sangan Mahanto, if you associate with great Mahatmas, then you get lifted up from this fallen condition, Patita. Patit means fallen. Sangan Mahanto. Buddhaivam, be intelligent. Pratibodham, be extremely intelligent. Listen, be intelligent and seek that association. Don't avoid it. Rather run for it. Seek it out. And all these material benefits may be in your hand. Janmaishvarya Shruta Shrivir. You may have fantastic power to enjoy sex life, or make money, or to gain name and fame by your exploits and activities in the material world. But that's standing in your hand, karastan. That karastan, that's a poetic way of saying your karma, your prabdha karma. Sometimes they say the future's in your hands. That phrase like that. The future's in your hands. Well, in Krishna consciousness, we can say, yes, our future's in our hands and our tongue. Our future's in our hands and our tongue. Because we take our hands and we hold on to the Tulsi Mala. And we use our tongues to chant the holy name. And then our future is bright, guaranteed, successful, all perfect, all happy. So this is the future's in our hands and our tongue. Keep the hands in the bead bag and the tongue moving in the Maha Mantra, and go back home, back to Godhead. That's the intelligent thing to do. Oh, intelligent reader, if you have no desire to awaken the material benefits that sleep in your hand, Aharanisha. So these material, all these prabdha karmas, they're sleeping in our hand, they're sleeping in our chitta. Hand means another way of saying consciousness, or chitta. So if you don't take association of sadhus, and then they will awaken. They have their time of awakening. Each material desire, each material benefit or material suffering has a time clock, has its own alarm clock, and it's ticking, tut, 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 tut. And one goes off when you're 29, one goes off when you're 31 in 4 months, one goes one by one they go off and they sound their alarm. Bang, 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 bang. And then you have to deal with it. Put it on snooze, or try to wake up from it, or deal with it, or throw the alarm clock out, or smash it. Disarm it, take out the battery. Do something to make it stop. So the pravda keeps on ticking and keeps on, acting. So don't wake it up. They say don't wake up a sleeping lion or a king. It could be dangerous. Either one could take your head. King will cut your head off and the lion will eat it. Put your head in his mouth. Eat it like a pakora. So this is a nice point. He said, with a peaceful heart reside day and night in Vrindavan. Aharanisha. And you can be peaceful when you live in Vrindavan. Don't wake up a lion, you'll be peaceful. If you wake up a lion, your life may take a different turn. There may be a little difficulty. So our pravda is like sleeping lions. Sleeping lions of pravda. So don't wake them up. Don't entertain them. Don't disturb them. There's vasana, and there's sanskara. So the vasana means that we associate with the objects which stimulate our samskaras. We associate with sense objects for which so many of them, for which we have sanskaras in our chitta, mental proclivities and conscious interest, which is lying dormant as a desire, dormant desire in our chitta. So we associate with the objects of the senses. Men associate with women, or women with men, or all the other objects. Then that association stimulates it creates desire because we have an inclination for that object. So when an association with that object, then a vasana arises, a desire, because we have proclivity. So if you avoid the sense objects and don't see them and don't think about them, then there's no stimulation going to the consciousness storehouse, the chitta storehouse of material desires and inclinations from last life. And then no vasana can be rattled there or created there. Vasana means the rising of desire to enjoy something that's within us, which is a samskara, a latent, dormant tendency carried over from last life. So he's saying don't wake them up. And take shelter of two things. Take shelter of sadhus, who are always speaking Harikatha and chanting Mahamantra, and take shelter of Vrindavan, Chintamani Bhumi. Because Vrindavan, you can find peace here. If you live in Vrindavan with sadhus, you'll be peaceful. Rupa Goswami says the same formula, a nectar instruction. Braje Tishtan Anuragi Anugami. He says you live in Vrindavan, Braje Tishtan Anuragi, and the association with Anuragi Vaishnava. Then you'll be peaceful. Why will you be peaceful? Because you will not be harassed by desires or vasanas. because you'll be purified step by step. Every step you take in Vrindavan, you get purified by hearing Harikatha from sadhus, worshipping and serving and walking through the Dham and visiting the holy Leela places. So that's why he's saying confidently that you can be peaceful. With a peaceful heart, reside day and night in Vrindavan. Aharanisham apramatak. Apramatak. Without any crazy heart. Apramatak hridaya. Day and night. Pramatak means completely intoxicated, completely crazy. Intoxicated heart, but he's saying, no, without it, it's gone. If you still do not wish to wake, this first translation is rather odd. There's another verse in this chapter we can read, verse 53. So many angles of speaking about the same thing, unlimited subject. Pamukshunam dhyata layamala maha yapichitim hare rekanti tvam ahaha grihayatam digakarot nayayastvam mukte ku kriter upavrinda tavi tada shayer dushtayas te jagati nahi namapi bhavita. Mumukshu. I said verse is there in the Krishna Karnamrita by Vimalangala Thakur. Mukti Swayam Anjali Sevate Sman. He says that Mukti Swayam. Mukti Swayam means the personification of Mukti, the goddess of Mukti, Mukti Devi. Mukti is a goddess. Mukti Devi, she's Swayam. Mukti Swayam, then, Mukti Swayam Anjali Sevate Sman. Anjali means with folded hands. Mukti personified is standing before me with folding hands, waiting to serve me. Mukti Swayam Sevate Sman. So he's saying that Mumukshunam Yata Layamal Mahaburi Arpicham. How personified liberation. You bring ruination to those who are desirous of liberation by awarding them the stool-like most harmful Sayuja Mukti, which means merging into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. Have you approached the unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord? In other words, he's talking to Mukti Devi. Say, okay, Mukti, you can ruin the yogis, the Gyanis and yogis who want Kaivalya, Sayuja Mukti, Brahma Sayuja, merged in Brahman. You ruined them because you, at least effectively, although not eternally, you ruined their individual identity. But Mukti Devi, I'm going to warn you, if you approach the pure devotees of the Lord, they will immediately reject you. If you go and offer your services, listen, I've come to serve you. What do I need? Get lost. Mukti Devi, you're wicked. You cannot even come near Sri Vrindavan, because by taking shelter of Vrindavan, your name in this world will be vanquished. So this is another kind of woman, a little higher type here, not just the ordinary Banda Devi. This is Mukti Devi. You know Band Devi, B-A-N-D-H, Band Devi. That's the Devi that binds everyone in the material world, Maya. But this is Mukti Devi. Mukti Devi offers liberation. Swarga Mukti, take Swarga, come, take Swarga. It's told in Brihad Bhagavatamritam that when Kumara was passing through the coverings of the universe, then Mukti Devi, personified as the Devi or goddess of each covering of the universe, came before him to offer him Mukti, Bhu Mukti and Vayu Mukti and different planets as he went up the solar system. So why don't you can have the lordship of the whole earth. I'll give you the earth planet and I'll give you this and that. And he said, Mukti kept offering him different positions and he kept chanting his Gopal mantra, 10-syllable Gopal mantra. Prem Gopi Jana Valavaya Swaha. And just kept moving. And then he went and found Krishna. in Goloka. He didn't want anything. The goddesses of different layers of the universe, the earth layer goddess, the whole earth layer. I'm not talking about Mother Bhumi, I'm talking about the earth. The earth layer goes around the whole universe. And 10 times thicker than that, there's a water layer. And 10 times thicker than that, there's a fire layer. So those realms are very incredible realms of opulences. So then the Mukti Devi and personified Queen and Devi of each of those realms is offering.
Cooking afterwards. Cooking, touching the head.
Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Cooking, touching your hair, not cooking.
The cooking.
Touching your hair, that is which.
No, I did not. I touched my hair. Yes.
Yes, I saw you. But I will not eat.
Yes. I just put the pin and come.
I will not eat.
No, Gurudev, I will just put the pin and come and wash my hair.
Not clean. You know.
Sorry, Gurudev.
Papa, eat yourself.
Sorry, Gurudev.
Come on, you have so much tapabalam. You have so much tapabalam and so much punya and so much bhakti and mantra chanting and living in Vrindavan. You're born in Govardhan. And you're so detached. Why don't you stay here? Come on, enjoy. He said, no, thanks. I'm a little busy right now. I'm going to Gopinath, to Gopal. So are you satisfied? Oh, excuse me. Therefore you're wicked. You cannot even come near Sri Vrindavan. By taking shelter in Vrindavan, your name in this world will be vanquished. So outside of Vrindavan, or outside of the consciousness of worshipping Radha and Krishna, mukti is a very popular concept. It's the basic pivot point of the entire Vedic paradigm. The Vedic paradigm revolves about an objective, an art. And the art, or the ultimate objective, is mukti, moksha. And everything else are stepping stones leading to that ultimate objective of the Vedic culture. Dharma, art, kam, moksha. That was the actual function of the Vedic paradigm, was to bring all the human beings to the point of moksha, gradually or rapidly, depending on their degree of surrender and taking shelter of the essence of Vedic culture, which is the service of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So for the Vaishnavas, the devotees of Vishnu, Ram and Krishna, mukti is, they have no care. They spit at the thought of mukti. Nadanam najanam nasundaram kapitam va jagadishikame mama janmani janmanishre bhavatad bhaktir hoitakitai. Birth after birth doesn't matter. We just want to serve Krishna. Serving Krishna is liberation. Serving Krishna is the spiritual world. So what are you offering? Oh, I'll give you mukti. I'm already liberated. The Narayana Parat Sarve, the soul, the mumukshas, the Vaishnavas are already liberated. So Mukti Devi comes. That's what he's saying. You come to Vrindavan, people say, your name will be worthless. He says, you can't even come near Vrindavan. Your name over here is in this evil world be vanquished. If everybody takes shelter of Vrindavan, everyone takes shelter of the worship of Radha and Krishna, then mukti will become defunct. No one will be interested anymore in mukti. Bhakti will be the only thing. Tate nukampam sushimikshamano banjana evatmana kritam vipakam Ridvag vapubir Dhira Namaste Jiveta yo mukti pade sadayavak. So there that verse says mukti pade sadayavak. That if one, of course, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he wanted to change it to Bhakti Pade. He said, what is this mukti? We're followers of Lord Gauranga, worshippers of Radha and Krishna. Now I've surrendered to Gauranga. Mukti is, we cross out mukti. We don't care about mukti. So Brahma spoke about mukti pade in the Brahma Stuti in 10th canto of chapter 14 of Bhagavatam. This is wrong. We want to replace this word. And he crossed out mukti and put bhakti. And Lord Chaitanya said, what are you doing? You can't change the Shastras like this, Sarvabhauma. You're a great Acharya and a great Pandit and Guru. But don't you understand? You have to understand what is the meaning. This mukti. Mukti pade sadayavak. Mukti means Mukunda. It means to attain the feet of Mukunda in Vrindavan. This is mukti. That is the highest bhakti. Mukti pade means nothing but bhakti here. So don't cross out Mukunda. He has beautiful white shining teeth and perfectly shaped and effulgent and very attractive like kunda flowers. He is Mukunda, whose mukha face is like brilliantly smiling like kunda flowers. Mukti pade sadayavak. Jiveti yo mukti pade sadayavak. Sadayavak, that is his inheritance. The devotee who's always doing Ridvag Vapubir with his body, mind and words, he's engaged in Hari Seva. Hari Seva, Guru Seva, Vaishnava Seva. That Jiva, that Jiveta. Muktipade, he's going to the Pad, he's going to the feet of Mukunda, Mukunda Dham. He's a Mukunda Shrestha. He's Mukunda Shrestha because he tolerates and serves the Lord without cessation, without complaint. Oh, woe is me, I can't serve. I have a headache, I have a tail ache. I can't serve. So Mukti, he's saying, watch out, be careful, Mukti. Don't approach, if you approach the devotees that take shelter in Vrindavan, your name will be evil. Your name in this evil world will be vanquished. In other words, name means you. You are your name, the name is you. O impersonal liberation, you lead to complete annihilation. You lead to the complete annihilation, those who take shelter in you. Hari's pure devotees has only contempt for you, O forest of Vrindavan. They who in this world take shelter of you will not even utter the name of that terrible liberation. That terrible liberation means specifically, of course, Suyuja Mukti. That is considered terrible. Of the 5 forms of Mukti, that one is considered abominable and unacceptable by the Vaishnavas. But the Vaishnavas as a class will accept and rather even strive for, in some cases, the other 4 types of Vaishnav liberation or Mukti. Sarupya Mukti, to have the same form as Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha, or Salokya, to live on his planet, or Sharshti, to have equal opulence as Vishnu, live in a big palace and have lots of servants and eat lots of chop and bhog and enjoy fine celestial music and have beautiful consort, your wife, such influence. Like a mini god, you can live there with the Sharshti on the planet and have the form. But still, there is some difference between your godly divine form and the original form of Vishnu Godhead. And that difference is only minute. It's some hairs on the chest. A golden line on the chest representing Lakshmi and some silver hairs curling to the left, which differentiate Vishnu Rupam. Vishnu, the Godhead, Vishnu, not Swayam, but God, Lord Vishnu, from this worshippers with the Shasti, Sarupya, Salokya, Mukti. So we're just finishing this class on the Vrindavan Mahimamrita. He's saying how devotees take shelter in Vrindavan, they don't have any interest in Mukti. Mukti for them means bhakti. Muktipade Sadayavak. That's what they inherit. They inherit, that's the wealth that awaits every devotee. Adhyavak. We have an inheritance. Something will come to us because the devotee never perishes, even at the crucial time of death, when all the life airs are disturbed and it's intense pain that makes giving birth to children like nothing. It's so painful that men and women both must face leaving the body. At that time, Krishna will come and he'll give the inheritance. Oh, you're actually a Vaishnav, Krishna Bhakta. You're my son and you're my daughter. So you have a big inheritance waiting for you. You're coming to that place, that pada, that place where Mukunda lives. And you're a Mukunda Shrestha. You're a Mukunda Shrestha. You're very dear to Mukunda because you served Mukunda your entire life. So then, Muktipade Sadayavak. Then Muktipade means you go to that place where Mukunda lives and all the Mukunda Shreshthas live. So Muktipade means Bhaktipade. The feet of Bhakti means the feet of Krishna, Vishnu, Ram in the spiritual world. So he's saying, what did he say in this translation, in this verse 1353? They were discussing about so many verses he talks about women or Maya, but here he's talking about, because we've been hearing about basic sensual women of the material world as an obstacle for men, or men as an obstacle for women. And here he's saying, not only these women of this world, but even Mukti Devi, even this one, because I've included her in this discussion, even Mukti Devi, for the Brijvasi Vaishnavas, says, oh, impersonal liberation, you annihilate those who take shelter in you. A pure devotee has only contempt for you. O forest of Vrindavan, they who in this world take shelter of you will not even utter the name of that terrible Sayujya Mukti. So we don't utter the name of that Mukti, we decry it, but the other four acceptable forms of Mukti we have no interest in as Krishna devotees. As I often tell the Brijvasis who are serving Radha and Krishna in this Vrindavan, apricot Vrindavan, when they die, they are burned on cow dung, or buffalo, whatever, gobar. And why? And they're burned lying face down. Why? And they're burned, they point their head in a particular direction depending on where the shamsan ground is located. But generally the head is supposed to be pointed towards the north. Head is pointed towards the north, and the body is lying face up and burned on arani wood or some type of special wood. And this is the prescribed ritual for the Yashti sanskara of death, cremation, shamsan. But in Vrindavan, they think, we don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to cash in on our tapabalam. Take our chips to the window. In Las Vegas, you gamble and get chips, and you go to the window and they give you the money, chips money. We don't want to cash in our chips. We don't want a vacation in Swarga. We don't want to go to Chandra. Generally, pious religious people, they go to Chandra Loka. Swarga is that's not an easy thing to go to Swarga. Swarga means 100 Ashwamedha yagas and so many. That's why Indradev is a little concerned about people doing lots of Ashwamedha yagas. Or if you live for 100 births consecutively following Varnashram Dharma perfectly, you may go to Swarga. So Swarga is way up there. Swarga Mukti is not a joke. But Chandra Mukti is relatively within the hand of very pious religious persons. Because the Earth planet is moon is very close to the Earth planet. So generally, the pious religious people go there and live there for 10,000 years and come back again. So the devotees, Vrindavan devotees, they don't want to go to Chandra Loka or any Loka. Gandharva Mukti, Gandharva Mukti or Chandra Mukti, or even the most coveted Swarga Mukti. So they burn with their face down because they want to come back to Vrindavan. And they point their feet anywhere, but the main thing is they don't want to point their feet towards Radhakund if the Shamsan ground is near there, or point their feet towards Govardhan, or any holy place, wherever the Shamsan ground is, and the body will be adjusted so that the head is pointed towards the holy place, not to the north, oftentimes south or west or whatever. And they're burned on gobar, or buffalo dung, or whatever, rather than trees, which is the recommended proper way to be burned. Why? Because all the trees in Vrindavan are Kalpavriksha trees. And they don't want to cut any of these trees. These are all Lila Briksh. And the gobar is simply, no violence in the gobar. It is simply the product of the cow. And it is pure. And they're Gwalals, and they're Brijvasis, and the gobar is the Brajaraj. They're born in this Brajaraj, their bodies are made of Brajaraj, and their bodies are burned in Brajaraj. Because cow dung is nothing but Brajaraj. It's grass, it's dirt. A cow eats so much dirt when it eats the grass. So we call dirt as Brajaraj. So they're born in the Brajaraj. They grow in the Brajaraj, they breathe it, and then they're burned with Brajaraj. And their sankalpa is, I want to take birth here again to serve Radha and Krishna. Muktiya, wonderful. I have no interest. This is Vrindavan consciousness. This is pure bhakti. Vrindavan Mahimamrita ki jai. Vrindavan Mahimamrita ki jai. 1363. And this is the category of Braj Bhajan, means Raganuga Bhakti. And these are various ideas and conceptions and practices that are not exactly anukulya strictly for Raganuga Bhakti, although many of them in themselves are necessary, required, and recommended. But in his intense fanaticism to preach Brajabhav and Braj Bhakti and Gopika Bhakti, then he's repeatedly reminding us not to get waylaid or distracted by anything less than the topmost practice of Raganuga Bhajan in the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan. This is text 1363, continuing the category of give up Hari Bhajan, give up Vaidhi Sadhana, and desire to attain Vaikuntha, simply do Rag Marg, practice Raganuga Bhakti. Says Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. Not myself. Krishna says you're a Muda in the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm simply repeating it. So you're a Muda. Kwaso bhakti kvanasakti kvatma jnanam kwanushtanam kala vyalagam yam ramyam vrindaranyam tvaika danyam gamyam ranyam danyam gamyam ramyam Ranyam danyam. See, ram, gam, yam, ram, yam, ran, yam, dan, yam. What's common to 4? Yam. What's common to 2? What's common to 2? Un. Right? Gam, yam, ram, yam, ran, yam, dan, yam. So it's quite a lot of quas there also. Very beautiful Sanskrit. Where is that devotional service? Qua bhakti, asakti. Qua bhakti, qua asakti. Where is that renunciation? Asakti. Where is the science of self-realization? Atmagyan. That means the science of self-realization. Atma Tattva Gyan, Atma Gyan, Atma Tattva. Where is the execution of religious principles? That's what Anustan. Anustan means different practices in a particular brat or religion. Anustan. Anyway, wherever they are, I don't really know. But I can say this much. All glories to this Vrindavan, which is unapproachable by the snake of time. Vyalagam, gamyam, gamanam means approachable. Kala means time. Vyala means snake. The snake of time cannot approach the Ramya Kichirupasanam Brajabadubir. Ramya means delightful, charming, beautiful. delectable and satisfying and fulfilling Vrindavan. Ramyam Vrindaranyam. For me, this is the one and only thing, the only wealth. I don't know about all this stuff. This is my danyam, ekadanyam. There's only ekadanyam. There's one wealth. Is that right? Danyam? There's one wealth, and it is, what is that ekadanyam? It's Ramyam Vrindaranyam. My one wealth is that delightful Vrindavan, that charming Leela Stali of Radha Govinda. I don't want to see anywhere else. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to live anywhere else but Vrindavan. This is his bhav. This is his mood. This is his intense mood. Because after all, who is he? Tungavidya Saki. So Tungavidya can't even think of going to Mathura to buy some saman for her kutir. She can't even think about leaving Vrindavan. Because even though Krishna's in Vrindavan, what to speak of a couch or a pillow? See the intensity. So of course they have everything here, so they don't have to worry. So he's saying, I know that time doesn't come here. There's no time here. Let's see the other translation. It's a long way away here. Where is pure devotional service? Where is detachment from this world? Where is spiritual knowledge? Where is religion? The forest of Vrindavan, which cannot be touched by the black snake of time, is the only home of all these opulences. A little closer, a little different idea, and a little more honed down to the unified presentation or idea in the author's mind, I believe. He's saying, let's break it down. He says, where is bhakti? It's only here in Vrindavan. Where is detachment from the world? It's only here in Vrindavan. Vrindavan asakti, being attached to Vrindavan. Where is real knowledge of the self? Here in Vrindavan, where you realize your Siddhadeha. And where is religion? And where is the ultimate practices and principles and details of religion? Anustanam? Only here in Vrindavan. That's all I know. And if one's living in Vrindavan, engaged in these activities, then he becomes timeless. Time cannot swallow him. He's not swallowed by the snake of time. The black snake of time can never swallow him because he's living in time eternal Vrindavan, and he'll leave this body to continue to live in time eternal Vrindavan, Nitya Vrindavan Vihara. This is what he's saying more clearly in our second translation. Where are all these things? Okay, you can do bhakti outside, you can follow anustan, you can try to be detached, but all I know is that all those wealths, all those valuable opulences and attainments and desirable pursuits are simply available here in Vrindavan, and it's not just a place, it's a delightful place, it's a ramyam. And it's a place of ramyopasanam. It's Ramyam Vrindavan, and Ramya. We have Kamyavan. Kamyavan. Now it's called Kamanvan, or Kamvan. Originally it's called Kamyavan. The word Kamya and Ramya are very similar. Kamya means delightful. Kamya, Ramya, Kamya means delightful, satisfying, most fulfilling the inner regions of the heart. This is Kamya. So that Kamyavan, in some kalpas, that's Nanda Maharaj's ancestral home. What we call Nandagram, the center vortex of Krishna's Leelas. And this Boma Vrindavan actually is in Kamyavan, another kalpas. And then Radharani lives somewhere nearby there. I forget the name of the village. So it's a little slightly adjustment of configuration. So even during his present Boma Vrindavan Leela, Nanda Baba spent some time there also. Some relatives are there. He lived there for some time worshiping Kameshwar, Mahadev, to attain a son, which he did when he went to Gokul. So he was in Nandagram, and then he was, I believe, in Gokul, and then he went to, for a short time, then he went to Kamyavan, then he went to Gokul, then he went to Chatikar, then he went to Nandagram, as far as I can understand. But definitely during the previous Bhoma Vrindavan Leela, he spent time there. And Krishna, of course, had his pastimes in all these places. He wasn't camping out there by himself in Kamyavan. That's a long way to walk from Nandagram. Although he can also do that. But that's generally the understanding. Even they show you remnants of Nandaraja's palace. Some people say it's King Agrasena's palace. So there's another verse here. We have a few minutes. This is, let's mark this one so we don't get that one again. Now this is 1642. Vindana satatam kyametad akilam koham ka ishon viti. Chindana sarupasanach churikaya du sneha pashan dhridam. Randana satatam karindriyaganam. Vindanavapyam param Brindaranya nishevayeva Susake kim dana yagadike. Nice Sanskrit. My dear friend, what are these visible objects? Who am I? Who is God? Well, considering all these questions, you should cut the ropes of strong affection with the knife of proper worship of the Supreme Lord. Always control your dull material senses and attain the most rare treasure of love of God by serving Sri Vrindavan. There is no need to perform any sacrifice or give any charity. Obviously, this is an extremely long verse. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 40 words in this verse. And very complicated and difficult words with myriad of meanings. And somehow the translator has produced this meaning. Let us venture to look at another translation, which sometimes I think is by the same translator, but I'm not sure. It's not clear who this other... this is one we just read is Kushakrata Prabhu, slightly edited by Purna Pragya. Now this one is a little bit anonymous who this one is. But it seems also to be Kushakrata's. Maybe it's an re-edited version, I don't know. Friend... It's 42. Friend, what would it matter if I knew everything? Who I am? Who am I? What can I do? If with the knife of worshipping Krishna, what is the Sanskrit for that? Oh, Churikaya. Upasana. Upasana Churikaya. Churikaya means knife. That's amazing. Sarupasana. Sarupasana means God worship. There's Devopasana, Panchopasana, and Sarupasana. Sarupasana means worshipping that which is eternal. It was what? Churika. Churika means knife. Churikaya. Churikaya. Du sneha pasham dridam. Where is it? Where is it? With the knife of worshipping Krishna, I can cut the tight ropes of material love. Dui sneha pashan dridam. Pash means rope. Dridam means strong. So maybe churikaya. Chindana probably means knife, and churikaya means cut. Du sneha pasham dridam. Pasham, that's like Krishna has that nagapash, that rope, he has that nagapash. That very strong rope of affection, I can cut it by worshipping Krishna. I can cut the tight rope of material life. And if by serving Vrindavan, I can subdue the wicked senses, then what need have I got? What need do I have for giving charity, performing yajnas, and doing anything else? So he's saying that all I have to do is worship Krishna in Vrindavan and serve Brajabhumi. Padasevanam, Vrindavan Seva. then everything will be accomplished. I don't need to do dan, yagya, tap, anything. Of course, that itself is not easy to do. But that's what he's saying here in this verse. So this is why I'm saying that Vrindavan Bhajan doesn't require Vaidhi Bhakti or any kind of rules, regulations, yagya. Of course, we couch our practices with various yamas and niyamas because we're duty bound. Because the main, irregardless of how one lives in Vrindavan, how he lives or where he lives, he can only live there by Guru's grace. And part of receiving and maintaining the flow of Guru's grace is to follow his orders and instructions, which include various yamas and niyamas and various rules and regulations. If he strips us of the bindings of rules and regulations, then that will be his prerogative, not ours, not our free will, but his. He may say, "Okay, now you're avadut. Let it all hang out." But generally, we don't find that to be there. That they may say different things. Now take sannyas. Now here's Siddha Pranali. They may, in different ways, engage their disciples in more refined and focused practices of bhajan. Nevertheless, there will always be some parameters of yamas and niyamas, as much as I can see. In fact, I often see that what I consider to be some of the most advanced devotees in Vrindavan to be rather tightly following lots of rules and regulations regarding hygiene, cleanliness, punctuality, rites and rituals, fasts and vratas, and pujas and parikamas. They seem to be steadfastly attached and rigorously executing so many of these functions, even though they're purported to be Siddha Mahatmas or Niskinchan liberated souls in Vrindavan. Maybe you had a chance or occasion to meet some of them. It doesn't appear to be much leeway for letting your hair hang down in Vrindavan, so to speak. And moreover, it's their way of life. As an example to others, which is the primary reason, and to as an offering to the Lord, they choose to live like that. Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as a group, are a very structured group of sadhus, and a very controlled group, the actual proper followers. Of course, there's lots of what they call apasampradayas in the Gaudiya fold. But the mainstream of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, be they grihastas, brahmacharis or renunciates or Babajis, they're quite formal in their practice and quite restrained in their behavior and following many yamas and niyamas. Whereas sadhus and followers of other traditions and sampradayas, there are many types of unusual personalities there. Unusual dress, unusual behavior, and Vaishnava Kriya Mudra applies over here. You can't understand their actions or dealings, or what they do or how they do. So when it comes to avaduts and sadhus and sannyasis and devotees in general, we'd rather be careful. And the old adage says, better safe than sorry. So we'll continue there tomorrow. Vrindavan Mahimamrita Ki Jai. So we're discussing the ocean of devotion, and we're continuing to sail across the ocean. And we're hearing about icebergs in the ocean to be careful of. They may down our ship, the good ship Gauranga, HSS Gauranga, whatever they call it. And there's so many verses about the perils of Maya. Maya means prakriti, material enjoyment, material energy. Although he's using the word woman, we take woman to mean Maya. And Maya just means to expand the field of material energy, to expand the field of material enjoyment. Sri means expand. And Maya means illusion, the illusion of being the enjoyer, the illusion of trying to enjoy this material energy, which is the Prakriti. So there's some more verses to discuss this topic. Chapter 8, verse 47. Vrindaranya adbhuta rasamai chetasa kapya vasta premananda napicha paraman bindu matri karoti mitya tukatmaka vishayagar indrayar vanchitastan naiva praptum prabhavati jano deva maya shriyanda jano deva maya shriyanda. In Vrindavan, the heart finds a wonderful state of bliss, which diminishes the ocean of happiness into a very drop. But alas, ocean of material happiness. But alas, persons who are cheated by the senses and always run after false, miserable material enjoyment become blinded by the illusory energy in the form of women and fail to achieve that transcendental bliss. The word is there, it's used. Andan is there. Anda and anda. This desire to enjoy the material energy of the material body makes one blind. And one's blind, then he runs in the desert thinking he'll find water. But he ends up dying in pursuit of the oasis that he never finds, because it's simply reflected heat waves dancing off the hot surface of the desert that give the illusion of an oasis. It's called mirage. Mirage, it's a French word, mirage. So the mirage of material happiness manifests as woman, or the mirage of material happiness manifests as man. And each, like a foolish animal, runs after the opposite gender, only to perish in the hot desert sands of the material energy. Oftentimes, well-minded ladies and gentlemen come to Vrindavan to do bhajan with the sole purpose of attaining love for Radharani and Krishna. But while pursuing their prayojan, the ultimate necessity of their hearts' cherished desire to love God and to serve God eternally in Goloka Vrindavan, they fall prey to the mirage. Although they're in the middle of an ocean of nectar in Vrindavan, living in Vrindavan Dham, serving Guru and Vaishnavas and Hari in Vrindavan Dham, somehow they think there's no water here, and they start running in the desert, chasing the oasis of man or woman. So this is considered a type of blindness. Prabhavati jano deva maya shriyanda. Deva maya shriyanda. One becomes blinded. Let's see another translation. Interesting idea. Surrounded by an ocean of nectar and then running in the desert after an oasis or mirage. This is Maya's trick. It's called Deva Maya. 849. The very wonderful flood of nectar that fills the heart in Vrindavan makes the bliss of prema, turns the bliss of prema into a single drop. A man cheated by senses that show him the painful illusions of this world and blinded by the Supreme Lord's Maya in the form of a woman is not able to taste that nectar that floods the heart when one properly lives in Vrindavan. So this is the idea of being here. There's a flood of nectar here, but somehow one becomes blinded. And we often see that, as I mentioned, well-minded Vaishnavis and Vaishnavas take up residence in Vrindavan, then they end up running after a man or woman and get married, or not even married, and they end up in the desert, as I mentioned, blinded by the illusory energy. They always run after false, miserable material enjoyment. Mitya, Mitya dukatmaka vishayager indriya vanchitastan. Mitya dukkha atmaka. Mitya means false. Brahma Satya Jagan Mitya, false happiness of the senses. They desire indriya vancha. They desire that Vishaya Indriya, that sense enjoyment, satisfy their senses, and this is a false proposition. This will just give misery. Naiva praptam pravati. They'll never attain this naiva praptam pravati. They'll not attain this great fortune of Vrindavan because they become blinded by the form of woman. So this, of course, is the iceberg. One of the icebergs on the ocean of devotion is to become blinded temporarily. So, of course, these verses are a series of sobering verses and chastening verses. A lot of them. It's something that's there. It's a very much part of Vrindavan Mahimamrita. So to overlook it and neglect it would be not doing justice to the author's feelings and meditations, because he was living 500 years ago, not living during Krishna's Prakat Leela. But even 500 years ago, he must have seen in his eyes sadhakas and Babajis or sannyasis or whatever, devotees that would be practicing and came here for that same purpose of attaining perfection of their lives and paramgati of Krishna Prema, and somehow falling into the blindness of material enjoyment. The direct associates and servants of Lord Chaitanya that are traveling with him, this Kala Krishnadas, I believe, he was in South India and he fell down he got attracted to some gypsy ladies, spent the night over there, so it's assumed that there was some fall down or something. That's the inference of the pastime. So even in the direct association of Lord Chaitanya, Kali Yuga is so powerful that sadhus and brahmanas would fall down to Maya, the blindness of this Deva Maya Striyanda. A woman makes one blind. They have that phrase in English, love is blind. Become blinded by the illusory energy in the form of a woman and fail to achieve that transcendental bliss. So again, as I say, the same phrase would apply for man. A woman comes here to do bhajan, a single woman or a widow or even younger lady. She becomes blinded by the illusory energy in the form of form of man. And she fails to achieve the bliss of Krishna consciousness because she's busy with babies and diapers and meals and grouchy husbands and so many other things. So this man is Maya for woman and woman is Maya for man. I don't think anyone can hear this lesson enough. And certainly in the course of these classes we'll hear quite a bit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 20 more verses. So maybe after 20 more verses we might get the point. I hope no one thinks that this is a televised internet brahmachari class. Because it reminds me sometimes, years ago, the sannyasis would meet with the brahmacharis in a temple, and the brahmacharis would approach the sannyasi who was traveling and preaching, and say, "Oh Maharaj, can you give us the brahmacharis a brahmachari class? Only for the brahmacharis, the elite special group." And of course, the sannyasis would oblige and give those special classes. And some of them are quite famous, those classes. It's not that. It's about realizing what is Maya means Prakriti. There's nowhere it says Krishna has one energy called Maya, which means woman. Maya means Prakriti, the material energy. The Bahiranga Shakti. Bahiranga Shakti means Mahamaya. And Mahamaya, the active principle of Mahamaya is the person. The person activates the Maya. The whole world exists because of people, individuals, personas, jivas have a desire. So then this desire manifests as Prakriti, this world. And the Purusha, the enjoyer of this world, is the jiva. So the woman is an enjoyer of this world. She's a jiva. And the man is an enjoyer of this world. He's a jiva. So the man and women both are enjoying the prakriti, material energy. And material energy means the Bhairanga Shakti, which means Maya, Mahamaya. So the woman who takes the man into this prakriti and expands his interest in prakriti, she represents the Mahamaya. And the man who takes a woman into the prakriti and expands her interest in this Mayak energy or Bhairanga Shakti of prakriti of sense enjoyment, he's a woman, or he's Maya also. So, oh, you're Maya Devi. Well, you're Maya Dev. Sometimes men say, men say, oh, you're Maya Devi. So what then? That's what they are to us, but what are we to them? Or Maya Dev. Because Maya means lust or means illusion, but Cupid is not alone. Kandarpa, Kamadev has a wife. And they both expand the material enjoyment. Cupid expands material enjoyment, and so does his wife. Kamadev means lust, and that's the husband, and the wife's name is Rati. Rati means attachment. Interesting husband and wife. Lust and attachment. My name is Mr. Kamadev, and this is my wife, Rati Kamadev. My name is Mr. Kamdev. My last name is Dev. Many people have this name, Dev. Has the last name, Dev. Surname. My name is Kamdev, and this is Rati Dev, Mrs. Dev, Devi, Rati Devi and Kamadev. So they become personified as man and woman for each other. So this is verse 49. So we've heard about the perils and the icebergs, and now when there's some danger, then there must be some response. It's called cause and effect, action and reaction. So there's some danger befalls a devotee, then he doesn't say, well, here comes some danger, haribo, danger. Swagatam. Swagatam, danger. No, he starts chanting the Srinivas prayer, starts praying to Krishna, runs away, does something in response to the onslaught of danger. So what does he do? Sri Rakshasya Suvishama Krite Rakshatam Cha Krodasuya Madapishunata Damba Loban Anritadye Brindatavya Viraha Bayato Rakshatam Nyuna Bavad Radhakrishna Nija Karunya Sarvato Rakshatam Mam Rakshatam. Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. O Ramachandra, O Lord of the Raghu dynasty, please protect me, be my Rakhi, be my Raksha. O Radha and Krishna Nija Karunya. It's only by your karuna and compassion. Nija Karunya Sarvato Rakshatam Mam. Please give me all protection. Out of your compassion for me, although I don't deserve any of your compassion, but still I'm begging you, I'm crying out to you, I'm pleading with you, and petitioning you. Sarvato Rakshatam Mam. Please give me all protection. Why? And they might say, why? I don't deserve it, but out of your compassion, you should do it. Do me a favor, although I don't deserve it. And then they might say, well, all right, you want us to show compassion and protect you from everything. Well, what are those things you want to be protected from? Well, please protect me from the Suvish Krite. Vishama Krite. The actions, the Krite of Suvish. A very, very powerful poison. Very strong poison. What is that strong poison? The Suvishma Krite, the actions of that powerful poison. Please protect me from women. Please protect me from the poisonous effects of the witch called woman. Rakshasi. The Stree Rakshasi. Now, women will not like that. But if there are female witches, there must be male vampires. It seems that vampires are the male equivalent of a witch. A witch grabs children or anybody and bites them and sucks their blood. Putana, that was her favorite bhoga. Children's blood. So be knowing that, then Kamsa gave open field. He declared hunting season. Kamsa declared hunting season in Braj Mandal. He said, listen, Putana, it's all yours. I want you to go and kill all the babies that have been born in the last month and have a feast. So then Putana went around killing all the babies and drinking all their blood, a witch. Then she came to Gokul, and there was still one baby left, Nanda Dulal. So she thought, all right, I polished off all these kids. This is an easy task. Besides, he's only 6 days old. He must be very fresh, tasty, sweet blood. 6 days old. Defenseless, small little, hardly even, not a child, just a blob. 6-day-old baby is like a thing. What is it? It's a kind of inert kind of entity, somehow with somewhat human-like features. Android, very small and short, stubby, everything folded over and closed. And that was Krishna, 6 days old, and Putana came, all right, easy. And of course we know what happened. Oh, Radha and Krishna, please protect me from anger. Now he starts lining up the good guys. Okay, women, that's the first problem I have. First problem I have is women. Suvishama krite. Women are like poison. When I'm with women, I just get totally intoxicated. When you're poisoned, you're intoxicated, and you lose your senses and go unconscious and even die if you have enough poison. So please protect me from Krodh and Asuya, from Krodh, anger and envy, and Mada, pride, and Pishnata, hatred, Damba, false ego, and Lovan Nrittade, and cheating. And please protect me from those who do not feel any separation from Vrindavan. Vrindatavya viraha bhayato rakshatam. Nyuna bhava. Viraha bhaya. That's interesting translation. Please protect me from those who don't feel Vrindavan viraha. Mathura Vrindavan viraha. Mathura viraha. And Bhayato, they aren't afraid. Please protect me from those who aren't afraid of being separated from Vrindavan. That's another way you can say it. Vrindatavya viraha, separation, Bhayato, fear. Protect me from those that have niyuna bhavad. And please protect me in all respects. Sarvato rakshatam mam. Sarvato rakshatam mam. Nija karuna. It is your compassion. Only your compassion will this be accomplished. In other words, these are invincible enemies. Single-handedly or alone, no sadhaka can defeat Maya in the form of woman or conquer Maya in the form of man. What to speak of the ever-present demons of anger, envy, pride, hatred, and greed, false ego, and cheating. They're all formidable enemies, but the worst of all is the opposite gender. They have poisonous effects. It's one thing to get shot by an arrow, but it's another thing to get shot by an arrow that's been dipped in poison. An arrow may strike you and you can pull it out and live, a regular arrow. But if the arrow is dipped in poison, it simply nicks you. Maybe it glides by you, nicks your arm, and just nicks you, hardly touches you. But the poison will go in that nick and that skin opening and kill you. These are the poison arrows. So the anger and envy and pride and lust and greed are like arrows being shot at us from our material consciousness. But a woman or a man are like poison dipped tips. Those arrows, a very poisonous effect. Please protect me from the cruel witch of woman's company. Please protect me from anger, envy, madness, cruelty, pride, greed, falsehood, and other vices. Please protect me from the fear of being separated from Sri Vrindavan. In other words, he feels very attached to Vrindavan. Once he came here, he never left. But maybe a fear comes sometimes. Oh, I may have to leave or I may go. Please protect me from that fear. Because fear is a debilitating mood, distracting mood, fear. So he doesn't want to be overwhelmed by that negative feeling of fear. So he's praying to be protected from it so he can keep his mind fixed positively and the Leela Smaran and the absorption in Krishna's service in Vrindavan. O Radha and Krishna, because I am very fallen and weak, please kindly protect me from all dangers. Now there's another verse. You like these verses? These are very hard-hitting verses. The nectar has become sluggish poison. Now we have 3 in a row now. I don't know how many we can get to. 50, 51, and 52. You can see that the author, 245, 6, 7, 9, he's really on a series, on a roll here. So even if one was going, which we're not, our format of our class is going by themes rather than individual verse by verse. But if one was studying the conventional way of going through the book, each shataka, and then verse by verse, then he would be bombarded every verse and every other verse in the whole series about the icebergs on the ocean of devotion in the form of woman or man, depending on the position of the soul. Kura deya tyago varamiha grihashter nahi milam yapi shreya prapto na yuvati samipam shanamaye najayam Sri Vrindavanam akila na shepi manasap yaho shudrasyapi vyavasitim imam ka safalayet. I would rather die in Vrindavan without any food than mingle with Grihastha householders. I would not go to any young woman for even a moment, even for attaining this ultimate goal of life. I would not leave Vrindavan in my mind, even if I am completely ruined. Oh, who can make my wishes come true? Ka safalayet. Who can bring the fruits of my desire? Generally, I guess he's really emphasizing Nirjan Bhajan. I'd rather die of starvation than meet with householders. That's pretty serious. Even to attain the ultimate goal of life, I would not go to a woman. Shreya prapto na yuvati samipam. Samipam. Yuvati means woman, young woman. I would not even for attaining something very valuable or ultimately beneficial, shreyas, I would not go. Let's see another translation. I would rather die of starvation than associate with materialistic householders. So he's qualifying it. Materialistic householders, non-devotees. Even to get the best thing, I shall not for a moment approach young women. Even if everything collapses, I shall not even within my mind leave Sri Vrindavan. Oh, what fruit will the endeavor of this weak and fallen person bear? So to approach a man to approach a woman for any so-called good reason is no good reason. Or a woman to approach a man for some so-called good reason is not acceptable in the standard of Prabhupada Saraswati. Text 51. Na Shastra Guru Kotibir, na Kalu Loka Ninda Shater, Mahanaraka Justibir, Nahi Vipatti, Sokyer Nahi. Managapi cha not sahe hatamano yuvat yaritam. Mirodum at idrisham kim avitasi brindatavi. Although I have heard millions of times from the Shastras, spiritual masters, and people that association of women is most condemnable. It is misspelled. And I have realized that it is hellish and devoid of the slightest happiness. Still, I could not stop my unfortunate mind from being kidnapped by women. Therefore, O Vrindavan, will you not protect such a fallen person as me? The Shastra Guru Kotibir Nakalu Loka Ninda Shater Mahanaraka Dristibir Vipati Sokyara. The greatest hell, Dristibir, seeing the greatest hell, Narak. Another translation, 51. Not with millions, not with koti, millions of scriptures and gurus, not with hundreds of rebukes from the world, not with a repeated vision of hellish life. That's Mahanaraka Dristibir. Not even seeing the greatest hell over and over again. And not even with a host of calamities am I able to restrain for even a moment this mind being infatuated by young women. O Vrindavan, will you protect me? He's asking a question. Will you protect such a person as me? Infatuated by women. Hatamano yuvati. Kidnapped. One person said kidnapped. So he's talking about the mind. It's one thing to take up a position of celibacy or solitary life or abstaining from associating with men or women and keeping to oneself doing his bhajan. But what about the mind? The mind can get kidnapped and victimized by any type of negative person or experience. So he's saying that somehow I'm controlling. I've heard a lot from the Shastras and from gurus millions of times, and I know that Sri Sangha is abominable and condemnable. But still, my mind, it's very difficult to control the mind. Chanchalahi Mana Krishna, like the wind. So, Vrindavan, I'm turning to you because only you can help me. Only you can protect me. Text 52. Jari harti swantam hari hari yuvat yari vishayo nairi nart ya kramya twati shirasi maya bhagavata vari varit vriti yasha chiramiha tu Vrindavana vane najane radaya katam ivachari karti karuna. Oh Hari, objects like women repeatedly distract my mind. Hari Hari, Jari Harti Swantam Hari Hari Yuvat Yari Vishayo. The illusory energy of the Lord climbs on my head and dances again and again. Twaati Shirasi Akramya. Still I have a long cherished desire to live in Vrindavan. I do not know, Najane, what arrangement Sri Radha will make out of compassion for me. Katami Charikarti, out of her Karuna Mai, Radharani will somehow make some arrangement for me, although I'm so despicable and wretched. Repeatedly distract my mind. Hari Hari. Nari Nart Yakramya. This is called self-effacing, or revealing one's mind confidentially. Guyakti Ati Prichati. He's revealing his mind in confidence to the paper or to the palm leaf, which he's etching with a stylus to write these Sanskrit verses, speaking his mind and speaking the mind of the struggling sadhaka who's physically in Vrindavan but mentally somewhere else. This is often the problem. Alas, alas, hanta, hanta. The forms of young women and other objects of sense gratification, so he says Vishayi and Stri, repeatedly steal away my heart. This is term theirs. Jari Harti Swantam Akramya Adi Vishayo, beginning with Visha, sense gratification, especially Yuvati, women in sense gratification. They go together or they go separately? The illusory potency of the Supreme Lord attacks me and repeatedly dances on my head. I continually aspire to remain always here in Vrindavan forest. Will Srimati Radharani be always merciful to me? I don't know. This is the question. She doesn't immediately reveal herself. There's certainly a testing period, an examination period. Even they have this phrase in schools called examinations. Have you heard this term? I have exams. They use this term still. I have exams. It means examinations. So in the spiritual realm of the sadhaka, when he's approaching transcendence, then there will be many examinations. He'll have to study for his exams. Our little children are studying for their exams all the time, every other week. So we're also little children in the field of bhakti, crawling back home, back to Godhead. And we have so many little and big examinations that come. Tests by the Lord and tests by the Guru and tests by the Dhamma Vrindavan herself, Vrindadevi. Vrindavan herself. We can't say itself because Vrindavan is personal. It's shaped out of the personal energy of the personality of Godhead. Vrindavan is a Devi. Everything is a Devi. Manasi Devi. Ganga Devi. The Devi, the consciousness, the personality. We may see land and trees, but it's all the expression of Shakti, the internal potency of the Lord, Sandini Shakti. Vrindavan Dham, Vrindadevi, the mother Vrindavan. So he doesn't know, because Radharani, will she be merciful to me? She's called Krunamayi, but will she be merciful to me? That I have to wait and see, Najana. I don't know. So now, chapter 9, verse 36. These are very nice verses. It reminds me of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song book called Sharanagati. He has one song book called Sharanagati. It has about 60 bhajans, all about surrender. Gopinath Mama Nivadana. This is, I'm a wretched materialist. This is one bhajan from Sharanagati. This is self-surrender. So this is text 36. This is about, let's see, 9:36. Brahmadya amara surasura nara jenye cha yogishvara no mayam yuvati mayam bhagavatas tartum samut seheri kodiyam swaham etayasmi vihitas chandala chandalaka Sri Kare Tava Sindhu Brinda Tilakar Vanyeya Vrindatavi. No one, including the best of the demigods headed by Brahma, or ordinary demigods, the leader of whom is Indra, nor the demons, the human beings, or the best of yogis can overcome the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. A most insignificant creature like me is also engaged in sinful activities like a dog-eater under the influence of the illusory energy. O Vrindavan, if you accept me now, then even saintly persons will praise me. Another translation, we can see, 936. Neither Brahma, the primary demigods, the secondary demigods, the demons, the human beings, nor the great yogis have the power to cross beyond Krishna's illusory potency in the form of a beautiful young woman. I am now agitated by this illusion, and now I become like the most degraded outcast, Chandala. O Vrindavan, if you accept me, I shall become so exalted that even the great souls, who are like tilak markings, decorating the community of saintly devotees, will worship me and bow down to offer respect to me. So he's saying that
Bhakti Dhira
Hari 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 Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare
Vajabhakata Vatsala Sri Gaura Hari Sri Gaura Hari Sahi Goshta Bihari Nanda Jasomati Chita Hari Dhira Damodara Ishaye Kana Bhova Mandire Basi Karaha Bojana Nandera Nideshi Bashi Giri Baradari Baladeva Saha Soka Boise Sari Sari Shukta Shakhari Vaji Lalita Pushmanda Dalidana Dugda Tumi Dadi Mocha Kanda Dabora Mash Boda Rotika Gritana Jaskuli Pistaka Kir Kuli Payasana Kapura Amrita Keli Ramba Kirashara Amrita Rasalam Dvadasha Pakora Luci Sinisar Puri Ladura Sabali Bhojana Korena Krishna Hoye Kutuhali Radhikara Pakayana Bibida Byanjana Paramayanande Krishna Korena Bhojana Chale Bale Ladukai Sri Madhu Mangala Bagala Bajayara Deya Hari Bolo Radhikari Gani Hari Nayane Rakone Tripta Hoye Kai Krishna Jasoda Bhavani Bhojanante Piye Krishna Subhasita Bari Sabe Mukha Prakaloy Hare Sari Sari Asta Mukha Prakaliya Jata Sakadane Anande Vishrama Kore Baladeva Sane Jambula Rasalane Shambula Masala Tahake Krishna Chandra Suke Nidra Vishalaka Shiki Pucha Chamara Dulaya Apurva Sayaya Krishna Suke Nirayaya Yasomati Anga Priye Danishtaya Nito Sri Krishna Prasad Radha Gunje Hoye Prito हरि सखी गण अवशेष पाया मन मन सुखे राधा कृष्ण गुण गाया हरि लीला एकमात्र जहाँ प्रमोदा Bharati गाय ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद कथा वत्सल श्री गौर हरि कथा वत्सल श्री गौर हरि श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी नंद जसोमती चित हरि नंद जसोमती चित हरि भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल 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 भज गोविंद गोविंद Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Guru Priya, Daddy, we'll see you later.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.